Hello, welcome to Gallery Guichard virtually. My name is Andre Guichard, artist, collector, curator, and co-owner of Gallery Guichard.
I'm Frances Guichard, artist, collector, curator, and co-owner of Gallery Guichard.
Welcome to virtual exhibition catalog number 34,
Yes.
If We Had Wings, a solo exhibition by Afe Ise from Houston, Texas.
Afe Ise is an African-American contemporary realism and figurative narrative artist living in Houston, Texas, and raised in rural Waller County, Texas, with roots in Togo and Mali. She holds a Master's of Science in Forensic Psychology with a concentration in juvenile art therapy. The artwork of Afe Ise focuses on Black portraiture while representing and venerating the rich history of the West African diaspora, with an emphasis on generational trauma and triumph in rural Black America. As a child of the diaspora, her paintings are conceptualized narratives of the African plight through the eyes of a self-aware Black American.
If We Had Wings is a selection of portraits by Afe Ise. If We Had Wings marries elements of contemporary Blackness and historical events ranging from the Black experience in rural Texas to the African diaspora in medieval Europe. Afe paints what she knows from her childhood as well as what she hopes for the future of her people. Our mission here at Gallery Guichard is to create platforms for artists of the African diaspora and collectors to meet. And this exhibit, If We Had Wings, is truly a testament to that mission and our 18 years of work, because here you have an amazing artist being introduced to our market here in Chicago, but also our broader market on the East Coast to DC, Florida, and all of the collectors around the country, to this amazing talent who the diversity of mediums to start with, from oil pastel to handmade paper, sanded board, oil on canvas, on and on, but then the way she makes you feel about things that I grew up in a home with parents from the South, a lot of the issues that are expressed and the stories behind the work which have spoken to my heart, and I believe they'll speak to yours as well.
We are so happy to have Afe Ise here at Gallery Guichard, a new artist, an emerging artist.
So you are in store for a really great ride, because unlike most of our artist talks, they're either here in the gallery or via Zoom right before the exhibit. But this interview was the first time we ever met Afe in Houston, Texas. We actually drove from New Orleans to Houston to pick up her artwork and learn the great stories about several of these pieces that are part of this 21-piece exhibit and this amazing solo show, If We Had Wings.
So we're gonna take you into her home and sit down and have a conversation with Afe Ise.
Welcome back to Gallery Guichard virtually. This is Andre Guichard.
I'm Frances Guichard.
And we have a special treat for you. We are here with Afe Ise from Houston, and she's gonna talk about this amazing exhibit. How you doing, Afe?
Hi, Afe.
I'm good. How y'all?
We are great. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
And
thank you
so
for having me.
I just want to say welcome to Gallery Guichard, and we're looking forward to having you here in person. But in the interim, for those who can't come to Chicago to see the show, we wanted to have a conversation that talks about who you are, what's your inspiration, and all that good stuff. So why don't I just start there? How did you become an artist?
I think that's a question a lot of artists struggle with. I think I've always been an artist. I can I can remember being a child and getting in a lot of trouble for coloring everywhere, drawing on everything. I can remember as early as the second grade being in art competitions at school. So I think it was always a natural part of my personality. And then fortunately, later in life, I got an opportunity to pursue it professionally. But I think that's always been a major part of my identity.
That's awesome. And so knowing that, you've been painting for how long now?
Painting, I've been oil painting for maybe 7 years now, maybe 8 years now.
So with that, how do you come up with your themes?
My themes are always a reflection of what I'm studying at the time. I'm an avid reader and collector of Black history books written by Black authors. And I like to get the perspective, the historical perspective from people who have the same questions that I have. So I like to follow the purpose. I like to approach it from the viewpoint of Nina Simone and James Baldwin. As an artist, I think we all have a responsibility to control our narrative in the way that best serves our community. And as an artist, I think the best way that I can give back to my community as well as my ancestors is to use that talent to make sure I'm transparent and honest about my perspective as a member of my community, instead of how our narrative has always historically been controlled by others. So I think it's my duty as well as my passion. And I don't like to do it from just my perspective. So I use references in the information that I read, the literature that I read, and take that and try to put my feelings in art form, since that is my way of expressing myself.
Interesting. So, there's something that, when you spoke to the synopsis of this show, and a portion of it is kind of the contemporary Black experience, and from a Southern perspective, which I have found enjoying the work, that it really feels like my same exact perspective, and how the African diaspora, whether you're in the South, the North, you're able to capture the same feelings and emotions of things that I grew up with as well, whether it's the pancakes, the little boy looking at the sugar. How did you come upon those subjects and those instances in life that I find that everybody has a similar experience?
I think the best way to be a transparent artist is to paint from experience. And I also believe that we have hereditary and generational connections and memories. So no matter where we are in the diaspora, we do things that are culturally similar. And I think that's because, of course, we are of one. For example, it's the pancakes painting. I don't eat pancakes. It's such a very vivid and fond at this point memory of my grandmother always trying to force me to eat pancakes on Sunday morning, and it's a very visceral, but also at the same time comforting memory for me. And to this day, I don't eat pancakes, but I love the blueberries now. So these things are things that memories that I pull for therapeutic reasons. I like to add a lot of therapeutic purposes in my work. I have rheumatoid arthritis, as you guys are aware of, and the painting also provides fine motor skill for me, but it also gives me an outlet for catharsis and relief, not only physically but mentally. So I like to make sure that I'm painting with a purpose. I'm painting with a goal in mind for viewers to be able to connect with the emotion that I'm trying to get across. Instead of just painting something that I feel is trendy or popular, I want it to be purposeful so that when people connect with it, it's a genuine and honest connection. And that's what lets me know that my purpose is being fulfilled.
Wow, that's interesting. You know, especially with your background in forensic psychology.
Yes.
How does that actually come into the work that you do? How do you use your background and experience in creating your artwork?
Well, I think that there needs to be an outlet for emotional expression. I think most people in general do not always adequately express their emotions in the proper way every time. And that's why we have things like diaries. We have things like knitting. We have things like puzzles. Art is another one of those therapeutic practices that people can take, where it provides you some isolated self-comfort. It gives you an opportunity to sit in yourself, to sit and feel these emotions, and also to translate them out visually so that others can see it. It's no different than a singer pouring their heart out on a song. It's no different than a poet writing a beautiful poem. We are artists, and art in all forms is a therapeutic practice.
Wow, very well said. And that has been our experience. The healing power of art, particularly during COVID, was an amazing experience. So I just really think it's something that is very fulfilling. And I think that's part of why people collect, and why I'm very excited about this work and this show. Speaking of the diversity of the mediums you use in this body of work, I found to be so amazing, from oil pastel, oil, silver leaf. I can go on and on. Even the care in which you treat the surfaces and the papers that you work with. If you could talk a little bit about your approach, not only to your work, but your process as it relates to mediums and choosing those mediums for each piece.
I wish I had a more traditional story to tell about my evolution with mediums, but it is 100% due to my condition, having rheumatoid arthritis. I've moved along in my journey over the years from materials that take a bit more of finer control to mediums that allow me to have wider, broader strokes that also allow me to get the finished look that I'm looking for. So I moved from charcoal work, which requires a lot of fine motor skill, to oil painting. And oil painting I was very much attracted to because of the time it takes for something to dry. And I'm a bit more of a slower artist at this point in life. It takes me a bit more time. I've stopped working on traditional upright easels. I have a custom tilt table easel now. So I have to do things along my journey that accommodate my degenerative condition. The pastel has been a lifesaver and a game changer for me artistically. My work has taken on a very identifiable scribble type of appearance, and that is because of the deformities that are in my hands. So the way that I hold my pastel sticks, it takes me away from so much fine detail, and I layer by scribbling. And to my surprise, it started to give my work very much a 3D effect. So moving to that type of technique actually improved the look of my work. So these things have been changes that I grappled with. I fought a lot, and finally, when I surrendered, I think I came into my own personal artistic style. So that's where the range in medium comes from. I do use other material. I use gold leaf, silver leaf. I use plaster. I use chalk. I use a lot of pumice. I hand make my pastel paper now. And these are things that allow me to actually get my hands into my work and exercise my hands at the same time. So I am getting some therapy as well. I'm getting some emotional as well as physical therapy when I paint.
That's awesome, Affy. I don't know if I have anything else to ask you. I think you've done an amazing job with information, and the work is simply beautiful. I really feel like when we have our opening that you'll be here for, everyone's going to love it. They're going to love your story. They're going to, just want to know more about each of the pieces. And fortunately for us, we have synopsis on each of the pieces, and it tells the story about why you created it, or and gives some insight to the history. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about some of that information.
Yes. So I started doing that because as a disabled person, I try to be thoughtful for other disabilities, not just physical disabilities. So I wanted to make sure there was always a descriptor that went with my artwork, since we live in the age of technology and social media and being online. I never want someone that can't see my work to not be able to connect with me on whatever I want my work to express emotionally. So I think that's a marginalized section of an already marginalized community, blind people. I think that very marginalized, and I want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity, if they would like to connect with me, to have that option. So I make it a point to be thoughtful about my descriptions, to not convolute them, to keep them honest, to keep them transparent, and to also give them a little bit of my personal feminine, romanticized hope for our community moving forward. So I try to always leave that air of hopefulness in all of my descriptors.
Great.
Awesome. Well, I'd just like to close with, this show is so fantastic, and I want to make sure people know they have the opportunity to drop down and walk around, because it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. You can go to virtual exhibition catalog number 34 and click on the button, and it will drop you into the space virtually. You could walk around, touch the circles, and it will move you around the gallery, and then you can touch each of the tags, the matter tags below each piece, and you'll get the title, medium, artist information, and price. So I would say in a case like this is humility and talent at its best, because we appreciate you, Affy, for coming into this market and allowing collectors an opportunity to acquire your work. And I think that's what's really important about, not only are you talented, you're humble, because after this, the prices only go up. So I'm so excited about, this moment in time, and look forward to having you and continuing to work with you in Chicago.
Right. And they'll be able to see your work, Affy, on our website as well at www.galleryguichard.com. And if anyone is interested in any of the work, they can contact us at galleryguichard.social@gmail.com. It's been great talking with you, Affy. We really appreciate working with you and look forward to seeing you.
Thank y'all so much. I look forward to seeing y'all soon at the opening.
Thanks, Affy.
Thank you.
Thank you.